This is the Under the Ring Report. And now, the only wrestling podcasting host in the world who can slap a tornado and dry up the sea, John the Flesh Wound and Cousin Tom.
And welcome, wrestling fans. It's the Under the Ring Report. Thank you for subscribing and joining us for this week's show. My co-host, right here by my side,
Cousin Tom, in the house.
Woohoo! All right, man, time for another flashback interview. We are going to go back to the year 2000 and talk to the late, great Dr. Death, Steve Williams. And he talked about just after he had left WWE and the Brawl for All and all those things that kind of went down. We'll jump in there and take a listen.
Dr. Death, Steve Williams, welcome to the show.
Hey, John, how you doing?
Very good. How you doing?
Good. How's Under the Ring?
Hey, it's awesome this week because we've got you on it.
Well, I'll tell you what, when you say under the ring, I think there's dust under the ring, you know? I've crawled underneath there before, you know? Oh, it's a great day. It's a good day.
So what you been up to? I know wrestling fans out there haven't seen you on American TV in about 6 months or so. You know, everybody kind of wonders what happened to you.
Well, I'll tell you what, John. I had a dispute with WWF on my contract.
Mm-hmm.
And then Vince LaRusso and Ed Ferrara called me from WCW when they jumped over there and asked me to do a little skit with Ed or Mr. Oklahoma acting like Jim Ross.
Yeah.
Well, I let everybody in the world know about this. This was just kind of a payback to Jim Ross because I believe I thought Jim Ross was a very, very close friend of mine, and after I got hurt in the Brawl for All, tore a hamstring and a butt muscle, then I was just left out in the cold.
Yeah.
They didn't want to do anything with me. They didn't have no plans, and then all of a sudden they got all fired up and said, hey, let's get him on that UPN channel, and I cut a bunch of weight. I went all the way down to 249, the lightest I've been in since I was a baby. You know, John?
Yeah.
And I looked great and trained real hard. Diet was great, and I was all psyched up. And then, as everybody can recall, that there was a girl that claimed that I was the father of her child, and it was called a deadbeat dad case.
Mm-hmm.
Well, WWF backed off from me. They wanted me to get out of the United States and go back to Japan. They wanted me to work for FMW, and that is a lower company than All Japan, who I've been working with. All Japan is as strong as WWF, you know. And FMW is like your independents over there.
Mm-hmm.
And if I would have went for them, then I would have lost a lot of honor.
Definitely.
And I didn't know how long FMW would have kept going with me, you know.
Oh, yeah.
So, you know, I'm very loyal to the company I worked for. So I told Jim, I says, hey, Jim, I really wouldn't like to go back to Japan because, you know, I got a little boy growing up, and that was the big deal. You told me I'd see my kid grow up, and I said, you know, I'd signed a contract. And now all of a sudden you're shooting me over there, and I just told him I wouldn't like to go over. And the next day I got a fax that said I breached the contract because I told him I wouldn't go. As you can hear, the wording is I said I wouldn't like to go.
Yeah.
They put it as I wasn't going to go. I didn't even have a booking date. I didn't have an airplane. I didn't even have a visa. Okay. So right now in the process, we're in a lawsuit term, you know, and you know how crazy those things go.
Yeah.
But, you know, then I went over to WCW, and they treated me real well. But they couldn't work a contract out with me because I was going to go back and work with All Japan and work part-time with WCW. Well, you know, WCW works with New Japan.
Yes, they do.
So J.J. Dillon said they had a little conflict. Well, I believe there's no conflict who I work over in Japan. It's, you know, the United States is totally different. If
That's
you want
true.
to work me, you know, and I wasn't asking an arm and a leg. I just wanted to be, you know, taken care of.
Mm-hmm.
So as this goes on, here I am now happier than ever. I'm back working for All Japan Pro Wrestling, and I'm just beating the crud out of everybody and taking names and keeping no prisoners.
That's good. Now, you've actually been working off and on with Japan since 1990, right?
I'll tell you how long I've been working over in Japan.
Okay.
15 years.
Really?
This year is my 10th year anniversary with All Japan.
Okay.
I worked 5 years with New Japan and All Japan. I was the first American to ever work for two major companies over there, as they call it, gaijins. That's
Yes.
a foreigner. I was the first guy to work both companies, and then all of a sudden everybody got a little tight because I wasn't going to go do a job for anybody, you know. And then I had to make up my mind, and Baba came with the price that I couldn't refuse, and I said, great. And I had a great, one of the best wrestlers in the business as a partner, Terry Gordy.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and we had a great run. Drugs got involved with him because of fame. I think he's the Freebird heir, and the Freebird heir is not hardcore in the match, but hardcore partiers. And I tried to steer him the right way and tried to train him. I got him he lost a lot of weight, and he was looking great, but you know, he had problems with the drugs, and I can't babysit anybody anymore.
Well, you can't help anybody when that happens. I mean,
bottom line, brother, I'm out there to make money, and
Yep.
I'm watching out for my back.
That's true.
And if my partner, and don't get me wrong, Terry's like my brother.
Yeah.
I mean, both of us gelled so well. We knew, you know, what each other was thinking in the ring. So, yeah, he's a great guy, and God bless him. I love him, but I'm at the age now I cannot babysit. I've got children. I babysit. You know, when you get to a certain age, you oughta, you know, you think that men shouldn't be babysit, but
yeah.
you know, there's some guys that never grow up. But hey, there's no regrets. I love him. I wished. I mean, you know. He died on me twice, and I brought him back. The second time, he was in a coma for 7 days, and I kind of lost a little bit. But one day, and I've been praying for him, one day I hope he gets it back, and I'd love to tag up with him and have another great run.
Hopefully it'll happen.
You know, maybe one day it will.
Yeah. Now, tell me a little bit about the differences for you, you know, wrestling there in Japan compared to being over here in the States. I mean, from what I've heard, I mean, it's totally a different thing totally for anyone.
Totally different. And a lot of politics here in the States. You know, in Japan, I don't have a contract. I have a handshake.
Really?
And when my daddy taught me when growing up, a handshake means a lot.
Yes.
And when you're talking to a person, look them straight in the eye, and you know if they're BSing you or not. You know, so that's one great plus for me over there. Now, over here in the States, with a contract, John, you have to almost have everything written down in that contract, what kind of program they're going to do with you, who they're going to work you with. It's that technical, you know, because the contracts here in the United States are meant to be broken. I had a contract with WWF that had a clause in it. If I got hurt, they'd take care of me for the rest of my contract.
Really?
Well, I'm damaged for the rest of my life. I'll never be able to reconnect a tear in my hamstring or my butt muscle. You know, I train hard, and I just keep my body tight and my muscles strong, you know. So, but I'm not going to sit here and cry over spilled milk. You know, what's good for the goose is good for the gander.
Hear, hear.
And it will come back on them, you know, if that's the way Vince thinks he ought to treat guys, then I'll tell you what, I'm a reborn Christian, and I'll tell you what, Vince is pushing the envelope right now.
Mm-hmm.
And if he doesn't watch it, he's going to fall, and he's going to fall in the wrong hand, you know?
Yeah.
But, you know, what's really sad, John, is I have a little boy, 7 years old, love to watch wrestling. I don't even let him watch it.
Well, I was going to say, I mean, some of the stuff that's going on right now, I
It's
mean,
too
as a
much.
parent, it's probably very tough on you to...
Oh, it's too much.
Yeah.
And so, you know, we play the WWF Attitude, you know, then, you know, he watches Japanese tapes. But, you know, I just feel sorry for the people out there. They're not getting what wrestling's all about.
Mm-mm.
I mean, there's stories that could go on for days and for years, as Bill Watts proved it.
Yeah.
I mean, Bill Watts would have it where you had to turn in next week. Mm-hmm. And you didn't have a bunch of TNA. Or you didn't have a guy drinking a bunch of beer or flipping off the world.
Yeah.
You know, I've been in this business now going for 19 years. Mm-hmm. I didn't have to flip off people. I didn't have to grab my jewels or act out of my character to make the money I've made.
Well, you got over because you can wrestle. And I mean, that was the thing. I mean, nowadays they throw a guy out there that has some good mic skills and has a nice catchy phrase, and who cares if he can wrestle?
Right.
You know, if he's
Right.
got something that the crowd sits there and chants with him, then yeah, he's a star.
If the boss gives him a gimmick,
Mm-hmm.
that's what it's all about
Oh,
now.
yeah.
If they got a gimmick, you know. Now it would have been a whole different change if I would have won the Brawl for All.
Yeah.
I mean, Vince would have had something to do with me then. But,
Mm-hmm.
you know, hey,
Now
you know,
that's something else I wanted to ask you about too. I mean, that Brawl for All. I mean, how was that for you? You know, to go in there and know that you guys were really out there to knock each other out.
well, I'll tell you what I told them. I told the office, I told them, I says, you know, this is what I've been doing all my life, is what we call shooting.
Uh-huh.
And if something happens, if I hurt somebody, am I going to get fired? Because I was worried about taking a guy's single leg and jamming his leg.
Yeah.
You know, bottom line, I had never even thought it happened to me.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and a fluke situation, Bart, I knew Bart had a good gun on him, and I kept in close and tried to stay away from that reach. Well, he faked it and pulled my leg out from underneath me, and half my body went outside the ring, and that's when I felt the tear.
Yeah.
And I'm like any athlete, as you can see, like track stars, when they're running, when they pull a hamstring, they stop.
Yeah.
I mean, who cares about the race? And that's the same thing what happened to me at the match. I mean, soon as I felt the tear, my mind came off the gloves.
Well, I mean, that's not important to you anymore. I mean,
Yeah.
your well-being and safety is what's important
Right.
at that moment.
And John, I'm going to tell I'm no boxer.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm a street fighter now, but when you isolate my hands with gloves, because that's how wrestlers win. They get that grab.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they work on leverage and the grab and the legs and stuff like that. Well, that eliminated me.
Yeah.
And, you know, they kept changing the rules, John. I mean, gosh, Dan Severn started what we call an amateur riding a guy, you know, and using up the time. So then they came back out and says, no, you take him down, you got to let him back up.
Well, do you think maybe there was like in kind of their minds, you know, well, we hope this guy wins, we hope this guy wins.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure. You know, that's the way they wanted it. But, you know, let me ask you this, John. Here they are. They're doing a deal. Okay, if you take them down, you got to let them back up.
Uh-huh.
Okay, now, if you're in the ropes and the guy just keeps on boxing on you, well, you going to break it? No, they didn't break that.
No.
Now, you know, you've got to make the whole thing fair.
Mm-hmm.
You know, but it's over and done. I made a kid, Bart Gunn. I mean,
Yep.
he's got a good job now in Japan, and he got it because he knocked out the legend.
That's true.
And God bless him. I hope he does well. But if we ever have to go up against each other, it won't be a 1, 2, 3 knockout.
No.
You know what I mean?
Well, I I kind of remember, too, is seeing him, I think it was at last year's WrestleMania when they had him do a Brawl for All versus Butterbean.
Oh, was that great?
Oh, my gosh.
That was a wake-up call.
Yep, I think right then and there he figured out that he wasn't as tough as he thought he was.
Hey, you know, Butterbean does that for a living.
Yep.
Bart Gunn doesn't. Now, he might done the strongman gimmicks, right?
Yeah.
You know, and, hey, I'll tell you what, Butterbean snapped him, man. It was unbelievable.
Man. He had to have a headache there for a few
Oh,
weeks because to see his face, I mean, his head just, oh my goodness, it made me shudder.
You know what was great is I kept trying to take the bets. Because I knew Butterbean's a professional.
Yeah.
You know, I don't care what anybody says. You put a pro up there, he's going to eat you up.
Oh, heck yeah.
So I was trying to place bets. Nobody had placed bets with me. And then the big rumor ran around that, Doc was chanting for Billy Bean or Jelly Bean or whatever his name was. I said, no, I was just trying to make some money on the side. Because I knew I had a for sure bet.
Heck yes.
You know, hey, I'm not against nobody. I was just trying to make a few extra bucks.
I don't blame you one bit. That was unreal, though.
But hey, it's over and done now. Yep. You know, Bart Gunn's got to, you know, he's got to fulfill his shoes now.
That's true.
You know, and, he's not doing that well in Japan. He's having a hard time adjusting because it's totally different. You don't sit out there and BS with the crowd.
Yeah.
Not like it here. You're fighting, and it ain't 3-minute matches.
No.
They're 15 to 30-minute matches, and you've got to have that cardio, and you've got to be ready to go.
Gosh. Now, you know, as we're talking now about Japan, how it's going on, how you been doing? I mean, I know people heard not too long ago you won the tag titles with someone else people are very familiar with, Vader.
First, well, I'll back you up.
Okay, go ahead.
First of the year here, my best friend and brother and partner passed away, Gary Albright.
Yes.
January 7th, and we was just getting the team back together, and we was all excited, and he was all fired up. He was training and everything, and that was a big shock, and I just want to say God bless the family. But I had to find a partner.
Yeah.
And so Vader was there, and so we started talking and had a little sushi raw fish together, and said, well, hey, man, let's hook it up and go see if we can get that tag team titles. Well, we went against Jun Akiyama and Kenta Kobashi, and it was a barn burner. It was very stiff. I mean, we were all really sore after it, but it was great. We got the belts. Now, as we were talking before the radio show started, that they're stripping us from the belts because Big Van Vader got hurt last tour. He's got about a 10-inch gaff on his elbow. They had to reconstruct the tendons, and I think his wrist is broken.
Wow.
So he's out for a couple of tours. Now, I read it over the internet that they stripped us from the belt. So when I get over there, I leave out tomorrow morning. When I get over there, I want an explanation why they're stripping it. I mean, hey, give the guy a couple tours to heal. If they don't want to do that, then let me grab another partner like Johnny Smith, you know, because he's like my style, wrestling style.
Is he?
But, you know, I don't believe in stripping the belts. But, you know, the company's changing over there since Giant Baba passed away, and it's you know, it's kind of shaky over there. But I know one thing, John, is as long as it stays shaky, I get to shake them all up. You know what I mean? 'Cause they'll be rattled by the time they get in the ring.
But I mean, now, you know, with Vader being out for a while, what are you gonna do now? I mean, you gonna try and go for a singles title, or?
Well, I just got my booking sheet through. It's great. The internet's great.
Oh yeah. So you read a lot on the internet?
Yeah, I got my schedule on the matches now. They got Eric Watts going over there. They got George Hines. They got Stan Hansen, myself, Bart Gunn, and Johnny Ace.
Okay.
And it looks like I'll be tagging up with George Hines and Eric Watts because they're younger guys, you know. And
Yeah.
so I'll be working with them, and that'll be fun. It'll be fun to work with Eric. I know him real well, and George, I've worked a few tours with him as a partner. So what I'm going to be doing is watching my back because I don't have the partner that I can trust
Yeah.
to watch my back. So I really will be on my toes to be taking care of myself.
Mhm.
The rest of them, they're going to have to take care of their own stuff because I don't know if I can trust them to watch my back, or if I'm in a submission hold, is somebody going to come save me, or are you going to let me get twisted up?
Yeah.
You know. But it looks good though. I head over there for 21 days, and it's what this will be. I think I got 10 days straight.
Really? And you wrestle every night?
In a new town every day, so
Wow.
that'll be a test.
Wow.
But I feel good. I just got off the scale. I weighed 261. Gained a little weight since I was home this time because I just had my birthday.
Oh, happy birthday.
I just turned 21.
Oh, there you go.
I'm like wine. You get better, you know, as you age.
Heck yes.
But it's good, you know. I've watched it go up, and I watched it go down. And always, as the marquee says, wrestling, they're going to need wrestlers.
Yep.
They're going to need technicians like the Ted DiBiase's, the Kurt Hennings, the Steve Williamses, the Terry Gordys. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, I do.
They need that. All this flip-flop and everything, it's great. Don't get me wrong. It's high-flying stuff. I'm glad the kids can do it because I can't.
Yeah, but you know what, though? Those kids are going to be done in another 2 years with all
Yeah.
the high-flying stuff.
Right. You know, I'm gonna I'm gonna still go, and I've got a degree in physical education, and I guarantee you, I have something to fall back on.
That's good.
A lot of these boys don't, and I feel sorry for them. They think the big glitter will never stop. One day it stops.
Yep. Dr. Death, Steve Williams, thanks a lot for talking to us. It's been very enlightening.
John, I just want to tell you thanks for letting me be on your show.
It was all our pleasure.
I want to tell everybody that God bless them, and that there is a great God out there, and He loves everybody if they just give Him time.
All right, well, that'll do it this week for the Under the Ring Report. Please subscribe, follow us on Twitter, Facebook, our Facebook group. Be happy to hear from you. If you have anything you'd like to add to the show, any comments, love to get the feedback. And as always, we look forward to hearing from you, and tune in for the next episode of the Under the Ring Report.
Hey, don't touch that knob, because you've hit it under the ring with the big Dr. Death.
Follow the Under the Ring Report on Twitter at UTRR Podcast. You can subscribe to the Under the Ring Report on iTunes, Google Play, and Stitcher, or visit undertheringreport.com. Thanks for listening to the Under the Ring Report.